I'm gonna record on three, two, one. We are speaking with the one and only singer Terry Ilous, and as we say here in Montreal, bonjour Terry, comment allez-vous? Ça va bien?
Ça va bien et toi, tu vas bien?
Toujours. Toujours un plaisir de se parler. You know, we once did an interview for XYZ entirely in French about 20 years ago.
Wow.
If you remember, we did something for one of the magazines I was writing for, and you said you speak French. I went, yeah. We did the whole interview in French,
Oh
but
my God.
I have that tape somewhere. But
You know what's funny, Mitch, is I recently did an interview in Spanish.
oh really?
Uh, yes, it was all in Spanish for Argentinian magazine, and it was actually podcast as well. And I was like, when the guy started to speak Spanish, and I forgot some of my Spanish, I was like taking, oh my God, the words, the sentences. I was freaking out, but I did okay actually. 80% of the interview was in Spanish, and 20% were the
A little bit of
English,
English.
English and broken Spanish.
Well, you
You know,
see, here you don't even get French. You get Quebecois, which is
Quebecois.
totally different because
But you
we
know, I can mimic your accent very well. The way, bonjour le Canada, comment ça va?
Ça va très bien. See, it goes very well. Now, so we're here to talk about the CD Hired Guns, which
Thank
is
you.
a collection of songs that you've done with other artists, and
Yeah.
you thought, hey, you know what? It's rough for my fans to track down 25 different CDs. I'm gonna get the best and
Yeah.
stick them in this one place.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. Talk to me just real quick about the decision because you have done other projects, you have
Yeah.
done all these other songs. How did you get down to these 11 and say, okay, I want these ones to be featured?
Well, first, as a songwriter, I write for a lot of other people. I collaborate with a lot of different artists, and I do a lot of music soundtracks. Sometimes, most of the time, as a ghost writer. Let's face it. I do that quite a lot, and I enjoy it. Actually, I enjoy writing for other people and for other projects, film, TV. Little things like similar to Netflix or anything like it. So I really enjoy that. But I came across these songs because these were my favorite songs. It was difficult to choose, by the way. Some of the project that I've been involved with, I could not get the rights to the songs. Like I've worked with a lot of Japanese artists. For some reasons, I was not able to obtain the rights, which is I understand. It is what it is. It's business. So but these particular songs I pretty much love, and I'm grateful that those three particular artists were okay with that, me sharing the songs to my fans.
Yeah, and of course you got to work with Dwayne Moreno, who's a great guitarist. I mean, he's a
He's a great
super.
guy also. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a CPA. He's a CPA actually, and he's a great guy. Sometimes I call him to ask him for advice on taxes. I'm like, hey, what, Wayne? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So Dwayne is a great guy, and of course I worked with Steve Soluto. He's Italian. He's a son. He's also a CPA. Oh my God, it's like amazing.
it's all
It's a
these
true story.
CPAs making music. That's great.
Yeah, because they're making so much money. But Steve Stefano is also a CPA in Italy, and he's great, and I love him very, very much. He's a great friend. On top of that, we chat. We're still friends.
Still
You know?
friends. Now, of course, just remind folks here, we can head over to terryilous.com. You can pick it up right there. The Hired Guns, it's available,
Yeah.
and you can go get
Thanks.
that. Now, what does that mean though in terms of the next step for you? You know, now that you've been out of the out of Great White and out of this, and you've gotten these collections together, do you start looking at original music? Do you start thinking about the next Terry project or XYZ? Where do we go from here?
Thanks. Well, actually, I have a new album coming out in September. I think it's September. I have to see with Frontiers, but it was produced by my dear friend Fabrizio Grozzi, who's an Italian producer, bass player who's worked with so many great people. It was a pleasure working with him, actually. Really, really enjoyed working with him. Um, Also, I collaborated with a guitarist named Serge Simic. And surprising, I mean, I had never heard of him before. Surprising great songwriter. So we had a great time. And so that's coming out, I do believe, in September. The album, all original songs, of course. The album is it's rock, but it's a bit 70s, a bit more like Humble Pie meets Bad Company meets early White Snake.
Uh, yeah,
I've
you
always
know.
been a big fan of White Snake, but the early White Snake. No disrespect to David, by the way,
Oh, I
who
love the Bernie Marsden White Snake.
yeah, yeah, that's what we went after because that's really when I left. I left. Well, I stopped listening to White Snake. After that era, after the 1990s, I was like, it's not that thing anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's still brilliant, and David Coverdale is still one of my favorite singers in the world. However, I was more a fan of the early White Snake.
Yeah,
But,
Ready and Willing, Dancing Girls. You got to cover
yeah,
Dancing Girls for Frontiers, just for me. Cover
well,
Dancing Girls.
I love David Coverdale before that when he came up with his first album, because David Coverdale, White Snake, the very first one,
Ah.
was called North by Northwest.
North Winds.
Yes. Great album. I have the album.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Oh, I'm a big fan. So I wanted to go back to that. Give it more of a organic sound. There's nothing.
Is it a
special.
bluesy sound?
It's bluesy. The vocals are of course, very bluesy, but rock, but a lot of balls. Because Fabrizio wanted to rock, and Frontiers wanted to make sure that album would rock. So I said, yeah, let's write the song. So I pretty much wrote or co-wrote 9 songs out of 11, or I think, yeah, I co-wrote. Jake and Northrop wrote the lyrics for me, and I wrote the music. And Serge did, I think, 2 or 3 tracks with me as well. Collaborated on 2 or 3 tracks. 1 track with Jeff Paris.
Jeff Paris is great. Jeff, I did a Kiss tribute back in 2013 that you were a part of, and Jeff was on it too.
Yeah, I called him. I said, you got to be on it.
Hey, and I'm going to tell you this right now. If you want to use Forever, or if he wants to use the Shout video that he did, you can have him. I'm giving you the rights.
Thank you.
If you want to put it as a bonus track for Japan, vas-y. You have my blessing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a great experience to do that. It was a lot of fun to I listened to that CD. There were so many great players, great songs, and
great performances. Great performances. They were great.
It's interesting how the music community got together and wanted to help help you and your family and do a good cause. It was very
touching.
Very pleased with that. Yeah.
Right. And I will repeat it. If you want to take Forever and stick it on this solo album as a bonus track for Japan, or
if you ever need me for something else, I'm a big fan of paying it forward in life. If you ever need me for another project, I would not charge you anything. I would just let me sing the track. I believe in helping others. I believe in paying it forward. Someone gave me a chance one day when I came to this country in the US, and I will forever be grateful. And so if I can help other people, if it's a good cause, and if there are, the people who need the money get the money, then I am there.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it.
35,000 went to the palliative care home in Vaudreuil-Soulanges, Quebec. So
that's very good. I'm proud. I didn't know I'm part of that.
Yeah, you were. It was a great little thing. But let me ask you, because you talk about the blues and the blues vocal. How important is it to have sort of the right singer in a band that's singing the songs with the right approach? Because you take somebody like I'm trying to think. You take David Coverdale and you put him in Rush, it's not going to work. And if you take David, you take Geddy Lee and you stick him in Whitesnake, it's not going to work. How important is it to have the guy singing the right vocals for the right songs?
It's very important. Music is a marriage. It's nothing else. You're gonna create something. It's just a marriage. You're gonna have kids and family, stuff. It's just the same thing. Music is happiness. Music is creating something, okay, that you can share with others. So if you put the wrong singer in a band situation, like you were mentioning, Whitesnake and Rush, which are 2 fantastic bands, by the way. I think it's really important to marry the right people together. You can't have one. It just has to be a great harmony So having the wrong singer, like a blues singer in a typical AOR type of band, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've been offered the gigs, and I'm not going to mention whom because I don't want to, but I've been offered many gigs in my life to sing for different bands. People say, "Oh, can you sing?" I said no. I passed because most of those bands were very AOR, what we call like great bands, by the way, like bands like Warrant or Firehouse, which I love and respect, but it's not really my thing. So I didn't think I would have done justice. I don't think I would have sang the songs very well, and I thought another singer would probably be better at the job than myself. So to answer your question, I think it's really important to have. It's like having a car. Okay, check this out. It's having a Ferrari and putting a Ford Pinto engine in it. It's not gonna work. I mean, the car's still gonna go from A to B,
Right. But
but
it's
is
going
it
to be
gonna?
a clunky ride.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
but
gonna.
I've heard so many great bands that have, great guitarists, great riffs, great the whole thing, and then they have this generic singer, and you go,
Like whom? Give me an example.
ha. Well, well, there's a lot of examples that I could give, but yeah, you can't have generic singers in a blues based band. You need the right guy in there. Getting back to the solo record, so it's going to come out in September. It's going to be a rock record.
Yes.
Is that something that you want to do? Because you have done, the acoustic stuff, and you've done the I don't want to call it more gypsy music, but the more sort of played up music. Uh, do you want to keep doing both, or do you want to go back to being a rock singer?
I do whatever I want. How about
Got it.
that?
All
And
right, good.
I don't mean to be pretentious whatsoever. I mean, I do whatever I feel like doing. You need to know, Mitch. I do music for myself, and I'm grateful that some people still like what I do. But I do things for me. I don't do things for journalists. I don't do things to please you, although I like you, your friend. But no, I don't do things for anybody else but myself. Um, because music is so important in my life, so important. So I don't compromise. Um, uh, and like, okay, to answer that question, I have a bunch of rock country tracks coming out in the next few weeks. Why? Because I felt like I was getting close to that genre of music right now. During the pandemic, things were kind of rough for everybody, and maybe I got a little bit nostalgic, or maybe I was getting a little bit depressed. Well, actually, I was, like a lot of people. So I felt like I needed to get close to that. I don't know. I know it could be, some people think it's stupid, but and I listened to a lot of country music and a lot of blues, and I was like, wow, it's touching me. So I said, you know what? Let's do a bunch of country tracks. Now, is it authentic country? Absolutely not. I would never be able to even if I wear a cowboy hat, I'd still be a Frenchman. So it's not gonna work. However, I can still give it a flavor. You know what I mean? So it's important to do things you want to do for yourself, to please yourself. And if you're lucky and some other people like it, then you should be grateful. You know what I mean? So I do what I want. I have a bunch of rock songs coming up, really heavy rock stuff, because I said, no, I'm going to rock. And then I have some country stuff. I have some Latin stuff. I don't care. Whenever I wake up in the morning and I want to write a song as a songwriter, if it feels like it's country, it's going to go country. If it's rock, heavy metal, it's going to go heavy metal. Therefore, I'm going to hook up with so and so on guitar and say, hey, can you do a track for me? And that's it. That's it's like, that's the way I
Get
feel.
get the XYZ guys. But all right, let me just quickly go over to Gypsy Dreams, because you do Boys of Summer and you do Love Bites, and you put such a twist on them. Was that something that was just really interesting to do? Is that how, like, when you hear Boys of Summer on the radio in 19 whatever it was, 85 or whatever it was, did you sort of hear these different versions in your head and you say, ooh, I like that, but I could do this with that? Is that how that project came about?
Yeah, when I heard the song, I mean, I've always loved that song. So I'm a big fan of
Don.
Don Henley and the Eagles and everything he's been associated with. But I when I started working on the track, I realized I could not do better than Don Henley. There's no way you can do better than that. You can do different, you know, and different is good. You can never do better than the original. It's really, very difficult. Very few artists have done better than the original. But what you can do is different. Some people will like it, some people won't. In fact, last night I was listening to a track by Johnny Cash, the song "Hurt" by Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
an
great song. What a
oh,
performance.
oh, what a performance in a video. I was touched. I was like, wow, that's outstanding. So it's different from the original. What you can do is do something different. So when I did the Gypsy Dreams album, I just wanted to do something that I thought was right. Right, meaning right. Was not. I didn't do it just to be different. I just said this is the way I envisioned the song. You know, that's all. So like same for the Zeppelin track, the A Whole Lot of Love. I said, nah, I love it, but I hear more Middle Eastern stuff than was recorded on the original track. So I said, let's go more Middle Eastern. You know, turn out I was right because according to some people of Zeppelin, really like it. So could be doing something right, I guess. In fact, my latest video, Wicked Game, was released 2 weeks ago, by the way, already has over 316,000 views in
Wow.
It's pretty
See?
good, right?
That's not bad.
316,000 views in 2 weeks. Uh, People were surprised by the approach, but for me, when I heard that song, I've always heard that approach. I said, oh, the guitar can be more Spanish because the way Chris Isaac wrote the song, the chords and everything, I said, oh, that's more Latin, that's more Spanish. Now, some people would say, what are you talking about? But no, so I felt it. It's just like, it's like sex, all right? It's the same way. You lay down, you're in bed, and you want to try a different position. Why? Is the way you're with somebody you love and everything, and you want to do things a certain way. Why? Because it's the way you want. It's the way you like. Some other guys would do something else different. Me, I'm a little bit kinky, so I would go for the twisted things.
Some twisted things. So yeah, so folks should head over to terryilous.com and pick up both Gypsy Dreams and Hired Guns. One thing that we've spoken about off air in the past is the environment, and I was telling you
Yes.
that there's a movie on Netflix, or at least Netflix in Canada, called A Plastic Ocean, a great documentary.
Yes.
It's made
I
me
want to.
rethink things.
Yeah.
Talk to me about you sort of your environmental approach and what you sort of see that we should leave for our kids.
Well, I'm scared to be honest with you. I have to tell you the truth. When it comes to the environment, when I look what's, in fact, I just went to the bank a few minutes ago, and there was trash everywhere. And I'm thinking, so I went inside. I talked to the manager. I said, I'd like to tell you that your parking lot is really dirty. There's trash everywhere, and it's not right. Plastic everywhere. You got to pick this up and do things right. And he was like, oh, okay. The bottom line is we need to be more responsible in general, but a lot has to do with, I think people want to be responsible, I think in general, but I think they are being misinformed, I think in general, and I don't think they're getting the right, our leaders are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. In fact, our leaders are doing crap, whether it's from one political spectrum to the other. I think in general, I'm very disappointed with all those politicians in general. And I'm talking about America or talking about France. I don't know about Canada, but in general, I'm quite disappointed because I don't think they're doing things for us anymore. They're doing things for their wallet. They're
Yeah.
taking the brides. They're taking the brides all the time. And I think maybe at first when they get elected, they're really excited about they're gonna do things for us and the people and everything. And as soon as they get into the government, in the routine, all they care about is getting the brides and money here, money there. So when it comes to environment, they're like, yes, of course I can save the whales, but I just made $100,000 by forgetting about it. Oh, I'm sorry about
More
that.
like 100 million. It's
Uh,
amazing how many leaders around the world go into the government as middle class citizens or sort of a little bit nouveau riche, and they walk out of there almost billionaires. And you go, how are you making that kind of money? That's
Absolutely. You can ask you a question. How did they make that kind of money? So how did they make that kind of money? Brides. It's so easy. People come to them. Look, it's like music. Put it this
yeah,
way. When we started to do music, we were doing the shows and everything, and it's for the love of music. And all of a sudden, you have all these people coming to you, giving you coke. Like back in the days, people were giving us cocaine, weed, women. Days just to be around artists, people would do anything. Hey, let's come to my party. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It was a bride basically, and then we fell for that, of course, more or less, depending on who you are and your integrity and everything. I think the environment is something that I'm very much aware of, and I try to donate, but also not just donate money. I want to spread the news out there. I always share things. I always participate when I get an email from so-and-so company and I think it's legit. I'm like, okay, I'll reply now and enter my name and everything. Unfortunately, where does it go?
Right. But the awareness is I think key, because I saw this movie, like I said, Plastic Ocean is what it's called, on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it talked about how everything is in plastic, and I never noticed. And then I went down and had breakfast, the other day, and my eggs come in a plastic container, the bread's in a plastic. Then it was hot outside. It was 30 degrees. I had a Mr. Freeze, and that came in plastic, and it's just like, wow, you can't.
What you get? Okay,
you can't escape it.
Mitch, how do you make plastic?
From oil.
There you go.
Petroleum.
There you go, petroleum. So somebody is collecting the dough. Somebody's making money. It's all about petroleum. So somebody, the presidents or prime minister of our countries, they don't care. They're just getting the money. And as you said they get into office with a very meager salary, and when they get out of office, they're almost billionaire. How did that happen? I think they are not doing the right things in general. Whether it's one party or another, I'm disappointed in general. So, but I still believe some people are genuine. I still believe some people really care, because that's all we can do is believe that, we do our part. I pick up the trash. I try to do what I can. No, am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I try to do as much as I can.
Yeah, you try to be as aware. Let me just get you over to XYZ for a second. Any plans moving forward? I mean, the Frontiers record is a Terry Ilous solo. It's not XYZ.
No.
So any plans to do anything with those songs or with the band, or is there any XYZ in our future?
Yes, we have an album ready to go.
Okay.
Believe it or not. I went to Denver, which is the
hub of the music industry.
Yes, that's where we live over there. I mean, everybody in XYZ is in Denver, actually. And our drummer, Joey, owns an amazing recording studio called Avalanche, and it's just state-of-the-art studio, like the old-fashioned, like the record plant, and the old with different rooms, and it's $1 million studio, which is really, really amazing. Anyway, we went there, we recorded an album, and we're just debating on how to mix it and how to let's just say we agree and disagree on the production and where it should go. Some of us believe that it should go more pop.
I'll tell you what, send over the mixes to me and I'll tell you what I like, because I'm your fan base.
It's a good idea. You know
Yes.
what? In fact, believe it or not, we are going to do that with some people. And I will include you.
Yes.
Thanks. Let me write this down. Hold on a second, because I need to write everything down.
I did that years ago with a Canadian band, Honeymoon Suite. They
I love those guys.
great band. They had an album called Clifton Hill, and the manager at the time, Tom Tremuth, sent me the album in a sequence. Song 1, song 2, and I listened to it and I thought, wow, this is tedious and boring. And I took my playlist in iTunes and I re-put everything and I sent it back to him, and he said, oh my God, this album sounds so much better. I go, yeah, because you didn't have the songs in the right order. You had like slow, 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 fast, 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 slow, slow, slow. It's like nobody wants to listen to an album like that. So
no, it's important to have a different ear, and I'll take you up on that.
Absolutely.
Right now but I thank you for offering that. Right now we're debating because let's just say I want to go more rock, and some members of the band, my partner Pat, wants to go more pop. Now I don't know if he's right. or wrong. I don't know. I just think that we disagree. Well, Pat is my brother. So we disagree, but
But
is it a good
what
thing?
do you mean by pop? I mean, are we talking like Backstreet Boys pop, or are
No,
we talking
no,
pop
no,
like Living on a Prayer pop?
no, not even that. More pop like Goo Goo Dolls pop.
Oh well, listen, I'm gonna have to hear the songs, but I don't think XYZ should be doing Goo Goo Dolls. I mean, if XYZ wants to do Def Leppard, okay, because Def Leppard is big arena sort of pop rocky.
No, it's
But
not that. No, no.
no, if it's Goo Goo, well, listen, he might be right. It depends on the song. Each song,
I,
he could
the
be right.
song was written, yeah, Mitch, some of the songs were written specifically with that in mind. Now, I just didn't write the song, say, oh, I'm going to do a song like that. It just happened that as a songwriter, as I said, I picked up my guitar and I wrote that song and it came out like that. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like it could use some cello, it could use this, it could use that. I mean, what I meant by Goo Goo Dolls, I'm not copying the Goo Goo Dolls, but that era where they had all the cellos and everything. And I said, oh, it could use more piano here, which we never used before. Oh, it could use more this or more. And then the song went into a different direction. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now the song can still go in the other direction, opposite direction, because the song is a song. It just depends how you approach it.
I agree.
So Pat and I, we disagree, but we have the album ready, and the songs are really good. It's just a matter of coloring. It's just like a picture, adding like beautiful cars, because I'm a car
Yeah.
collector. So for me, when I have a beautiful car, it's a matter of the right engine or the right paint or the right wheels. Now it's just a matter of, do we agree on this particular production or not? That production is great, by the way. There's nothing wrong with it. I I love what Pat did, and it's great. I'm not sure it's what I would do. So to be diplomatic, I would just say, well, let's see what's going to happen. We're going to decide. We are going to send the tracks to some people
Yeah.
because we want to get a reaction. So I wrote it
Yeah.
down. I'll send you
Send me
because
both versions and don't tell me who's who. Don't bias my decision. I'll just listen to both songs or both versions and I'll tell you,
yes, yeah,
honestly.
I've already had a couple of friends whom are in the music business, journalists and producers and music executive that I've known for a long time, and they say, yeah, send me the tracks. I'm going to give you my opinion. Great. I think it's fair, but it's fair. But as a songwriter, as I said to you, I wake up, I write. Sometimes the song goes left or right. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, and it's hard to judge. It's all based on the song. I mean, listen, you look at a song like I said, "Living on a Prayer." It works with the keyboards and the big vocals and stuff. If you made it too heavy metal, it wouldn't necessarily work. But if so it all depends on the song. When do we expect to see that out, and when do we expect to see the solo album? Is this sort of everything in the fall of 2021 or?
Everything in the fall. The solo album for Frontier is going to be in the fall. Meanwhile, I'm going to release about 2 songs a month. They're ready. I mean, they're mixed by a friend of mine named Tony Phillips, who's a great mixer engineer who's worked with the Who and the Pretenders and everything. So he's a buddy of mine. He's from England, and the songs are mixed and ready to go. It's just a matter of how many songs I'm going to release every month. I have so many songs ready to go. I have 2 albums ready to go, basically. It's like 14 songs.
Wow.
During the pandemic, I wrote about 40 songs because I was depressed as heck. I mean, I don't know about you, man, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, I have to admit that the pandemic has been the best year of my life. I loved it.
Wow.
I
Tell me
love
why.
not having to go anywhere, and I love sitting at home and I just walk the dogs every day. Listen, I'm one of the few. Not that I'm wishing it stays like this, because I kind of want to get back to regular life, but I thought it was okay.
But what about, because you were getting your salary, right? Or not?
I was getting a salary, yes. I
See,
have not lost a penny.
yeah, we musicians didn't get a salary. I mean,
Right.
I had a tour scheduled to go to Australia. I had a bunch of things,
Yeah.
so many shows. Everything got canceled. I haven't worked since
Yeah.
last February, aside from doing a special appearance with
Yeah,
Mel.
and I'm not making fun of that or diminishing
Oh,
that. I mean, I know there's a real pain for a lot of people. So, But
Yes, no, I understand. You were getting a salary from me. I didn't get a salary since
wow,
February last year, 2020. Aside from doing a side project with George Lynch,
wow.
um, back in December, we did a corporate event together. Other than that, I haven't seen any money. I mean,
Wow.
I'm glad I had money saved up, but
Yeah.
otherwise I'd be in serious trouble because I don't get unemployment. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
So
that's one of the tolls that you forget because listen, I've been on this computer. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. I've been on this computer since 8 o'clock in Zoom meetings all day, and it's been like that since March of 2020.
you're a lucky guy.
So I mean, I've been staring at this screen for 6 hours, and I do that every day, and it's been fun. I mean, I get to do meetings in pajamas. I have fresh coffee every 20 minutes. I've got a dog sitting here on my lap. I mean,
What
that's a
kind of
lot.
dog? What kind of dog?
The one on my lap is a Chihuahua.
Oh, Chihuahua. I love those guys.
Yeah, and
They're pretty smart.
yeah, I don't know. Well, he's asleep, but yeah, it's been good. So, but it's time. It's time to get everybody working. It's time to get everybody back out there. And last night I was watching hockey, and the Canadian teams have no fans. And then I watched the Carolina Hurricanes, and they had it full. And you know what? There's just an ambiance. There's just it. It's just better with fans.
Now, we're talking about hockey. Why is it that you guys have the best players in the world? Now, I know some people are going to say, no, we don't. Yeah, the Canadians are amazing when it comes to hockey. Why is it that you guys are so amazing at hockey?
I think it's everything. I think it's the infrastructure. There's a lot of local programs for kids. There's a lot of government support for, Canadian hockey, Canadian Olympics, Olympic hockey. There's a lot of opportunity. We're not great at golfers because we get to golf 2 months a year, whereas we get to play hockey 12 months a year. So there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of Canadians that dream of being in the NHL. Growing up in Russia, people will be like, well, they don't dream of being in the KHL. They dream of, and when you're in California, you dream of being a baseball player, or you dream of being Tiger Woods. But in here, we want to be a Maple Leaf. We want to be a Canadian. We want to be a Calgary Flame. That's what it is. So, but I think a lot of it comes down to the support. A lot of the local governments have kept the rinks affordable, have kept ice time affordable. Equipment, that's another story. But that's what you do. So
It's like soccer in France.
In France, yeah.
If you go to or South America, whatever,
Or anywhere.
in France,
In fact, the rest of the world. It's like soccer in the rest of the world.
In England, France, Germany, I mean, soccer is so huge. People don't get it. It's not even. It's just a religion. People talk about soccer like it's a religion. People kill. I mean, look what happened. I think 8 years ago when a goalie made a mistake and was from Venezuela. Or I forget which South American country, and he got killed.
Yeah.
He got out of the arena, the game, and he got killed like a few hours later. So fans said they were so upset. So. Soccer is a religion over there. So, but there's a lot of local programs. I remember when I was a kid, all you could do, I mean, they were at school, were like, oh, you have to join your soccer team. And I was like, no, I want to learn wrestling. I want to learn martial arts. I know there's no school for that. I'm like, really? So I had to go and find a school.
I know. My dad made me go to soccer here, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to play soccer.
You don't play soccer? No, the Canadian team is not that popular, in the soccer playing.
No, but my dad was a goalie in a professional league in France. He was the Paris Red Stars back in the 50s.
Oh, wow. In the 50s, yeah.
In the 50s, and came here, and it was like, you're going to play, because my dad's from France, you're going to play soccer. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, don't make me play soccer. I hated it.
You hated it, huh?
Oh, I hated it.
In America, I mean, the American team, the female American team is amazing. I mean, just like, and girls love it. Oh my God. Girls love it. Girls love soccer. It's amazing. Just play. They're really good. Guys are so-so, but girls are amazing.
Yeah, but here you're just standing out in 30-degree heat. It's like humid like Florida. There's mosquitoes and black flies, and it's just like, ugh, no. No. Anyway, on that, as we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. Always a pleasure. Toujours un plaisir. And there we go. There we go. And voila. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh, let me turn the recording